Hey everyone, Mike Slifer here in the First Alert Forecast Center, coming at you with another First Alert Weather Extra. It is Monday, August 11th, and we have a lot to talk about today. First Alert Weather Days for heat, if we can expect any rain. Don't know about you, but my lawn is brown and crispy. We certainly could use a soaking rain here. And also what's going on in the tropics, because there's certainly a lot to discuss. We'll begin with where temperatures peaked today. Many towns in the upper 80s and lower 90s. It was hot across Connecticut today. Tweed New Haven made it to 90, 91 at Bradley, 90 in Willimantic, 92 in Meriden, and at Hartford Brainerd today. So many of the official long-term climate sites here, not long-term climate sites, but rather official ASOS sites made it into the 90s. So it was hot across Connecticut, and it also kicked off our fourth heat wave of 2025. Yesterday, we only made it to 89 for the Hartford area. We were shy by 1 degree. We needed it to be 90 degrees or higher for 3 days in a row or longer. So today it begins. Tomorrow and Wednesday, though, we're pretty confident in getting the temperatures back up into the 90s, especially away from the sound. Look at this planner for tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine out there, very bright day, as temperatures quickly climb through the 80s and settle again in the low and mid 90s. Great beach weather. UV index will be high. Temperatures along the shoreline ranging from the mid and upper 80s to the low 90s. A high tide tomorrow is right in the middle of the afternoon, so should be great for swimming. Great day to spend some time along the shoreline. Only thing you got to keep in mind here is that air quality may not be great, particularly for sensitive groups. That's what we're focused on here, and that's what those orange dots signify for tomorrow. Air quality alerts will be in effect again across portions of Connecticut. So if you want to keep up with that, you can always do so through the free First Alert Weather app. Great thing to have on hand, but avoiding strenuous outdoor activity if you have any pre-existing conditions like asthma or COPD, definitely a good idea. It'll be hot, it'll be muggy. Wednesday, we're hot and humid, and we run the risk of some isolated storms developing. Let's take you over to Wednesday, what it actually feels like out there. Low and mid 90s popping up through for heat index values here through the early part of Wednesday afternoon. And we'll see an approaching cold front, and out ahead of it, we expect some isolated development. Some showers, some thunderstorms, both possible here as we get through the day on Wednesday. While we need a soaking rain, some towns will miss out on this entirely. So unfortunately, not the soaking rain that we are looking for, but at least it's better than nothing. And there is a chance that some of these showers will actually last right into Thursday morning when the front itself finally will push through. We have no showers to track tonight. First Alert Live radar scanning clear and dry. Here's our iCam view in Rocky Hill. So it looks a bit hazy right now. We'll take you to Hartford where we can also see the haze. And take a look at the moon there off in the distance. We're going to revisit the moon in a second, why that may not exactly be the best for viewing the meteor shower ongoing tonight. But we still have that haze around, and that's due to high concentrations of ground level ozone. So while the air quality has improved, it's still not great. And again, we have air quality alerts that are in effect until 11 o'clock tomorrow, or pardon me, until 11 o'clock tonight, and then we'll see them issued again for tomorrow. Here's a live look on our iCam in Torrington. Looks like that's the moon coming up over the horizon in Torrington too. Great conditions if you wanted to get out there and view the moon. It was just a couple of nights ago when we had the full moon. The full moon in the month of August is known as the Sturgeon moon. We'll take you live right now to Waterbury. In the distance, we see the cross at Holy Land lit up. 74 degrees in the Brass City right now. We'll take you live to Bradley International, where it's currently 79. Winds out of the south-southwest at 6 miles per hour. Our iCam view in New London showing everything's dry at the ferry loading docks. And we will take you to the Elm City. Clear skies over New Haven right now, where it's 81 degrees. Winds are to the southwest at 15 miles an hour. Now, over the last 6 hours, we really haven't had much to track on the satellite and radar. And there's a little bit of cloud cover to our north, no showers or anything like that to contend with. So pretty quiet conditions, and we expect those to continue overnight tonight. Temperatures in the mid and upper 70s inland. 81 right now in New Haven is the warm spot. 74 Groton, Meriden. So certainly a little bit, relatively speaking, cooler in southeastern Connecticut, which is what we experienced earlier today too when that sea breeze kicked up. Dew points are in the lower 60s, low and mid 60s, so it's a bit muggy out there. Maybe a little bit muggier along the 95 corridor where we see some upper 60s mixed in. But all things considered, not too bad of a night out there. We do have the Perseid meteor shower going on tonight. If you want to get out there and view, the best time is going to be after midnight until sunrise, or a little before sunrise. Sky conditions are clear. Great news. But we're battling moonlight. We have the waning gibbous right now That's the phase of the moon we're in. And that means only the brightest meteors will be visible. So we're thinking up to 25 an hour, which is down a bit from where we would typically see this peak. On dark nights, when the Perseids are active, you can certainly see a lot more activity. Temperatures, on the other hand, will be seasonable, so you don't need to worry about bundling up. Something else that you could do just before the sun rises is take a look off to the east. You'll see two very bright stars. One of those is Jupiter, one is Venus. You're actually going to be looking at planets, and you can see it with the naked eye. You don't need any sort of special gear to be able to view this. So something cool to check out tomorrow. This is, again, just prior to sunrise. Sunrise tomorrow is 5:56 in the morning. Mostly clear skies tonight, mid and upper 60s along the shoreline, 60 to 65 across inland Connecticut, about where we typically would be this time of year. And even though we began the month of August quite cool, that has certainly changed. What hasn't changed is how dry it has been. 0.23 inches of rain so far this month for the Hartford area. We're coming up quickly on an 1.5 inch deficit. We'll get there tomorrow. We're about even if you go back to the start of meteorological summer. And we still have a bit of a surplus built up from the start of the year, which is good. That has certainly slowed any issues related to drought. However, we're starting to see more abnormally dry regions pop up on the drought monitor. The new update comes out Thursday, and there's certainly a possibility that we'll start to see even more areas get added, especially given the hit and miss nature of those showers and storms on Wednesday. It will be hot again tomorrow. Temperatures back in the upper 80s and low 90s across northwestern Connecticut. Low 90s, even maybe a couple of mid 90s popping up in the greater Hartford area. And throughout northeastern Connecticut, from Hebron to Stafford to Pomfret to Plainfield, right around 90 degrees. Onshore winds keeping southeastern Connecticut a bit cooler. 81 Niantic might be a little too cool. Some of these newest model runs are dropping temperatures a little too much, but just inland we start to see more 90s. Old Saybrook 86, Madison 87, Durham and Portland 91, Colchester 90, 91 in Wallingford tomorrow, Ansonia, Milford 89, 88 in Branford and Fairfield, 90 in Ridgefield and Newtown. So high pressure starts to move offshore, is moving offshore, and that is going to keep our wind out of the southwest. So we keep the warmer, muggier air pumped into the state. We'll see a cold front approaching on Wednesday, and out ahead of it when we start to see some isolated development. Again, could be some thunderstorms in the mix here. Unfortunately, not everybody sees them. Not everybody sees any rain at all. And this will bring about the big changes in the humidity. Our dew points drop back a bit with that front Wednesday into Thursday, and then by Friday we're back to pleasant levels. So it is still going to be quite warm on Thursday and Friday, just not in the 90s. So our heat wave expected to only be 3 days, ending on Wednesday. And we start to kick that humidity out too, so it'll feel better out there by Thursday and Friday, despite the fact that there will still be a lot of heat around. Overnight temperatures begin to fall back a bit too, especially into the start of Saturday. Shoreline temps go from the lower 90s into the upper 80s by Thursday, mid 80s by Friday, Saturday. We'll start to see humidity return, some mugginess out there Sunday, maybe an isolated storm risk with temperatures in the lower 90s to finish off the weekend. But early next week, we see increasing sunshine with temps back in the upper 80s. We'll take it to the tropics right now. Here's an area of potential development, a disturbance being monitored by the National Hurricane Center in the Gulf. Thankfully, it has a very low chance, near zero chance of actually becoming a named system. And that's the case with the 3 yellow X's that are on the screen right now. But what we are tracking is Erin, a tropical storm right now. Winds are 45 miles an hour. That's maximum sustained winds moving to the west at 21 miles an hour. As it continues moving out into the Atlantic, its forward speed is expected to slow, which will help it strengthen even more. You'll note that it says the pressure of this is 30 millibars. That's not correct. A little glitch here with the National Hurricane Center data that's coming in, but minimum central pressure right now of 1,004 millibars. We get our next update a little over an hour, so be sure to check back in with Mark Dixon tonight on Channel 3 at 11. So Erin will keep on moving off to the west. It makes its way toward the Leeward Islands, and as it does so, it will strengthen first to a hurricane, perhaps becoming our first hurricane of the season in the Atlantic, and then maybe even to major hurricane strength, Cat 3 forecast by 2 p.m. on Saturday. So we'll be the first to alert you as soon as it becomes a hurricane and as it continues to strengthen. Next up on the name list is Fernand, followed by Gabrielle, and it looks like it might be a little while till we actually see any of those names get used, given that any of the disturbances out there have a very low chance of becoming named here in the next week. Back home over the next week, we go from muggy and hot tomorrow, first alert weather day, back to humid on Wednesday, some isolated storms at first alert weather day. Thursday, maybe some storms early, isolated in nature, becoming brighter as the day goes on. Temperatures briefly dip Friday and Saturday, but staying above average right into the weekend and through the weekend with more 90s on tap for Sunday. We will have much more coming up on The Wax at 10 o'clock on Channel 3 tonight at 11, and you can always join Scott Haney tomorrow morning or join Jill Gilardi here. Our next First Alert Weather Extra is 8 a.m. tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you on The Wax in 20.